So some of you may be thinking that this whole renewal process is for everybody else but you. Maybe you're thinking, I've gone too far. I've done too much. There's no way that God can use someone like me. That maybe your sins are somehow too great, and that for some reason, whatever it is that you've done in your life, that it somehow keeps you from being loved by God. There was a man, one of the kings of Israel, who was described as a man after God's own heart. His name's King David. And David did a lot of things right. David wrote many psalms that we read in the book of Psalms, and many of them are great praises to God. He was a great king of Israel who led the country faithfully to love and follow God. But David was not a perfect man. In fact, he made quite a few mistakes. Some of them pretty bad. And instead of ignoring them, instead of running away, instead of looking for other opportunities, he, in his mistakes, he sought God. And he writes about them. In one of the Psalms, he said, blessed is he whose sins are not held against him. And he knew what that blessing was like, because there were some of the great sins that he had were quite public and just really bad choices. He writes about coming back to God in Psalm 51. And there in the middle of the psalm, there in the very middle of that chapter, he writes these words. He says, create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. And his prayer is that God would restore to him his salvation, restore to him that relationship that he had with God before. That he knew that his sin separated him from God. And he longed so much for renewal that God would make right those things that he had done wrong. And maybe that's our prayer today. Maybe that's the prayer you need to let sink into your heart this week. Is that prayer of just that God would create in you a clean heart, a fresh heart, one that would love and serve and follow him, one that would go to such great lengths to pursue God and his desire for us. That somehow, even in our faults and our mistakes, it doesn't disqualify us from the love of God, but that as we come back to him, we seek renewal, we seek hope, we seek his love, and that by seeking him, he'll create in us a clean heart, a new heart, one that pursues him wholeheartedly, and in spite of our wrongs, in spite of our faults, which will continue to happen, God's love will be made fresh to us new each day. And in those new mercies, we can find the hope to take the next step. We can find the hope to reach out to others who they too need to know about God's great love for them and how he wants to create in them a new heart, a clean heart, a heart that longs to serve and follow him. I hope this finds you doing well. I pray that God will continue to renew us and remake us as we are apart, so that as we come back together as a church family again, that we might be able to make his name great and help our community find their way home to him. I love you guys. I'm praying for you, and I hope to get to see you real soon.